And so now the founder of Malacca, in the Malayan Isles, he's Iskandar Shah, who was the 5th king of Singapore, was driven out of here. And it's symbolic that he got driven out of Singapore because he mistreated one of his consorts. Now, one of the main punishments in Malacca, one of the worst things you could do, was not to crease them to death, was not to execute them. It was to strip them naked in the marketplace. This is one of the most severe punishments in Unang Malacca. It's worse than death, to be made to feel malu. And so, but this is what he did to her. She was accused of being unfaithful to him, so he stripped her naked in the market. And then, of course, her father, who was the treasury official, then decided to commit treachery, khianat. So it was, again, a kind of a symbolic punishment for the kingdom, that the ruler disobeyed his ancient pact with his subjects. He would never make them feel ashamed. So he's called Iskandar Shah in the Malayan Isles, but all the other sources we have call him Paramaswara. Paramaswara is not in the Malayan Isles. So this is one of the kind of editing jobs that Tun Sri Lanang, that was his name, the guy who copied the Annals in 1612, he edited out Paramaswara. He's completely out of the Malayan Isles, but all the other sources remembered him. The Chinese, he's the one the Chinese referred to when they went to Malacca. Not the Iskandar Shah is later. Paramaswara was the one who was still the ruler. And he's the one who supposedly converted to Islam. So some authors then, like Walters, my old professor, thought that maybe they got mixed up, that they thought that they were two different people. They were actually the same one. But this is highly unlikely. The Chinese met both of them in person. So they wouldn't have probably been able to mix them up. So the Malayan Isles intentionally omitted Paramaswara. So why would they have done that? So the Chinese and the Portuguese, they heard the same story, that the Malacca was founded by Paramaswara, who originally didn't come from Singapore. He came from Palembang. And he was attacked by Java, fled, came here. Cheng He met him, 1405, the first voyage, Paramaswara. And he visited China, and he's the one who died around 1413, not Iskandar Shah. So the Portuguese say that Paramaswara came here from Sumatra after being attacked. One of the possibilities is that he had rebelled against the Javanese and was driven out by a Javanese attack, fled here, sort of like the story of Sang Nila Utama coming here and then meeting the queen. But apparently what happened was that then either he or his men, whichever it was, killed the local ruler of Singapore and then took over. So he was a usurper, which might be why the Malayan Isles doesn't mention him. They want to have the impression that there was a nice unbroken chain from Sri Tribuana all the way to 1699, when the ruler of Johor, who was traced his ancestry all the way back, was assassinated. That broke a 1,000-year-long chain, according to the Malayan Isles. That was probably not true. Paramaswara was probably a usurper, was not in line for the Singapore throne. So, but this is when the Patani comes in. We talked a bit about Patani yesterday and the importance of Patani. Patani, probably the chief of Singapore, was probably married to a princess from Patani. This is a story that the Portuguese heard. And so the Patani people then came to avenge him, their in-law's death, but Paramaswara escaped, and so he was attacked twice, once by the Javanese, once by the Patani people. The third time he got lucky and set up Malacca. So why is he not in there? So the Malayan Isles is not entirely trustworthy as a source, it's true. So that's Walters, that's my old professor. And so Walters and Raffles had a big disagreement about the Malayan Isles, whether to what extent you could rely on the Malayan Isles at all as a source for Singapore history. Walters thought the whole Singapore section, all the 5 kings, were totally fictitious. They never existed. He thought that this was a cover-up for a period when the Palembang line was overshadowed by the Jambi Melayu line. And we know that did happen after the Chola attack. Then it seems like Palembang went down and the Malayu kingdom resurged, came back again, after having been probably subjected to Srivijaya Palembang for about 400 years. So that was Walter's conclusion. So it was the Malayan Elves factor fiction. There's Raffles standing there saying, no, I believe that's all true. So these are the two books that Walters wrote. That's why I went to Cornell, was to study with him. And so he said that the whole thing is fictional. Malayan Elves was written to legitimize the Malacca royal family. Then they claimed descent from Srivijaya, not Malayu. So Malayu took over the role of the main Malay port after 1025, and we have lots of archaeological evidence from Jambi to prove that. So Kedapik, Bukit Seguntang, and Kedapik has a very kind of sentimental value for me. This is where I first lived in Southeast Asia, at the foot of Kedapik. That's why I got interested in the subject. I was there in Sungai Petani. So I was wandering around that area for a couple of years, helping set up farmers' cooperatives as a member of the Peace Corps. So that's what got me switched over from Eskimos to Southeast Asian archaeology. And so I began to hear all these stories about Raja Burseong, the king with the fangs, and so on. Yeah. So there were stories about ancient kings and Kedah, all these ancient ruins nobody knew anything about. So, then there are inscriptions that go back to the 4th, 5th century there. So there were these 3 main hills, which, actually 4 main hills, which had been the centers of the Malay kingdoms. Kedah Peak was the first one. Bukit Seguntang, this is the one in Palembang, where supposedly Sang Nila Utama appeared. Then, of course, we have the Forbidden Hill, Bukit Larangan. So there's a very strong continuity. Kedah, Srivijaya, and there's a hill also in Jambi. No one has ever explored it yet. And then there's a Forbidden Hill. So obviously these places were chosen partly with symbolic topography in mind. And of course then Raffles built his house on what he thought was the ruins of the old Malay palace, these brick ruins that Crawford found. And then the 4th one was, of course, Bukit Bendera in Malacca. And you can still see the terraces on the hillside, never been excavated here. So I suspect someday somebody will finally get a chance to go and dig up the remains of that palace there.